Broadcasting live from Youngville, North Carolina and Ontario, Canada, this is Got Mead Live, a weekly show where Vicky Rowe and AJ Airments bring you the mead news, meadery info, and mead-making discussions from all over, talking with mead makers, mead owners, industry mavens, and influencers. This is Got Mead Live, a weekly podcast about mead and the people who love it and where the mead world is going. And now here are your hosts, Got Mead owner Vicky Rowe and mead and wine maker AJ Airments.
Welcome to Got Mead Live from the den of the puppies of the apocalypse, possibly Melbourne down under if Hamish is able to join us. Ryan is out today, so wish him well out in his pad in Denver. And man, he's got a new job, so the TARDIS in Miami is busy doing producer things for TV. And of course, the Bunny Pen in Ottawa, Canada with AJ. It is Got Mead Live. Welcome to the show. Tonight we are going to be talking with a couple of different people. First one coming in is Carolyn Peepall, who is somebody from she's a lady from South Africa, currently living in, I believe it's Indiana, and in Bloomington, Indiana, and she is going to be doing a sour mead experiment presentation at the AMMA Conference. She's got 13 different sour meads that she's going to be presenting and allowing people to taste and produce tasting notes on, so that everybody can check this out. So sour meads are kind of a new thing. There's a few meaderies that are doing it, but it's still a work in progress. So, and then our other speaker is Theresa Dorr, who is from Vinoshipper, and she's been with Vinoshipper forever and a day. She's going to be giving a talk at the conference on setting up Mead Clubs. So she's got a lot to bring to the table, and she's also going to tell us a little bit about what Vinoshipper's doing with being able to get mead to practically at least two-thirds of the U.S. states. So, sorry, Canada. Yeah. But anyway,
we're used to being ignored. Don't worry about it.
Yes, well, the border's close. You can always come across. Yeah. So anyway, it's going to be a fun night, and this is our second to last. We've only got one broadcast after this, and then we're taking a week off to finish getting all our ducks in a row for the conference. Then AJ and I will be going to the conference in Mazer Cup, and Hamish will be joining us there, and then of course we'll broadcast live from the mead mixer, so that should be fun. Anyway, you guys know this, but we do this all on our own time and for free because we are so awesome and all that stuff. But the software, hardware, and the storage cost actual cash money. So we hope you'll consider becoming a supporting patron member. It's only $30 a year. You get access to the gotmead.com patron forums, which have a lot of award-winning recipes in them. And for only, about 50 cents a week, you get that. You get patron Facebook group and, those recipes. So, and of course, you're helping to support Got Mead Live, and pretty much everything Got Mead does. So it's very much appreciated. And those that have signed up since last week, thank you so very much. We really appreciate it. And of course, I've got a lot of renewing members who are also seriously awesome. Jayden's making smart-ass comments on okay, so you can listen to us live on the Got Mead website. Just click Got Mead Live Radio, and the player will always be playing either what we're doing live or what the most recent episode is. You can also get all of our back episodes there as well. If you want to listen to it later, you can find us on the Got Mead website, on iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn, and Stitcher. Just search Got Mead Live. It'll pop right up. We go all the way back to the beginning of the show with the replays that are available. You can find us online. Hey, Jayden. You can find us online on Facebook at facebook.com/gotmead, and our main Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/gotmead. Twitter, we are at gotmeadnow. Sorry about the barking. My husband just arrived, and the pups are letting me know. If you want to get in touch with us via email, you can just go to gotmead.com, put your mouse over Got Mead Live Radio. There's a drop-down where you can just send in questions or comments or suggestions. We take those too. And, of course, if Skype is working the way it should and you want to call in, you can call us at 803-443-MEAD. That's 803-443-6323. Whew! I had more air than I thought I had there. I'll pay for that later, Whew, boy. Okay, so what are we drinking?
Well, I've been doing a mini cheap-ass kitchen reno, and I dug into the back corners of the kitchen, and I found some of what I thought to be a batch of strawberry wine I started in like 2004, maybe 2005. Um, and it's pretty much smells and tastes the way I remember it. It's got a bit of a phenolic thing going on to it, which I kind of assumed was normal with strawberries because when I was on honeymoon, I went to a fruit winery that had strawberry wine, and it had the same thing on their strawberry wine. So it's
I've seen that a lot with other strawberry meads. You keep or meads and wines. You keep them long enough, and they tend to go phenolic. And I don't know if that's strawberries or if it's just,
yeah, it's just sort of this faint like I don't know. I've only had this smell with strawberries, and it's happened I think every time I've used strawberries. So I've just assumed that this is how strawberries smell when you ferment them. Yeah, it's kind of a weird chemically kind of thing, but it tastes fine. And I got to be careful with this stuff because the last time I drank 2 bottles of it and was drunk off my ass. So I will be drinking this with care. It used to be carbonated, and it isn't anymore. But then again, I suppose 10 years under Crown Cap can do that to a thing. And
yeah, it will
it appears,
eventually.
yeah, and it's very faintly pétillant right now. It's not even really curbed. And the color that used to be so nice and pink on it is now all sort of stuck to the inside of the bottle. So I haven't poured it into a glass. I'm just drinking it from the bottle because I'm a bore. But
Heathen.
anyway, it still tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
Of course I'm a heathen. What do you expect?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just all right.
Mm.
Yeah, I've got I went and kind of semi-randomly pulled a bottle from the stash downstairs, and I've got a bottle of Hunter's Moon Meadery's Velvet Moon. It's a sweet blackberry blossom mead, 16%.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, and so it's not a melomel. It is a blackberry. It's just a traditional, but with blackberry blossom, but 16%. So yeah, and fortunately, it's like a 375. So I'm not in too much danger here.
Well, that's all I've got, and 2 of those just about killed me the last time.
Yeah. Okay, and it says here on the label, and Greg and Kim Bodish are the owners of Hunter's Moon Meadery. Shout out to them. It says, made with blackberry blossom honey, thanks to Pro-Am Winter West, aged 3 years. So, and I've had this at least a year, so it's actually aged like 4 years. And it's sweet, and they said it was, but it's sweet, just tons of honey in the nose and in the taste. It's dark. It's like sherry colored. So, and it's got some sherry notes to it. So it's kind of aging into sort of a sherry-like mead, and it's not it's not a bad oxidation. It's the good kind, that adds character. So I like that. It's very smooth. It's sweet in the taste. Just that touch of sherry note. Really long honey finish. So I like it. It's pretty neat. I hadn't had this one before, so I'm enjoying it. If you want to get some for you, huntersmoonmeadery.com. So I like this.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this too, but I'm going to enjoy it very slowly.
Yeah, it would not do to have us,
Verschnick it. Yeah, I'm 3 swallows in and starting to feel it. So, and this is only 8%. I don't know what the heck it is with this batch, but every time I've had more than a little bit, it knocks me on my ass. So,
oh my gosh,
I'll just sit here quietly. Yeah, this was. I may have, if anybody who's followed my exploits on Gottmead may have heard about the strawberry batch I had that just bubbled and bubbled and bubbled and bubbled for like a year, even though the specific gravity was already down to no sugar left. That's this batch. So it was already weird. But yeah, I think what I did was I siphoned some off and put it in these bottles before I added a little bit more sugar to the rest of the batch, and then it ate the sugar, and then it kept bubbling. Like the airlock was active for a year after it finished the sugar it was in.
Wow.
I don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
Crazy.
I don't even ask anymore.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's just magic,
Yeah.
There she is. Okay, I was trying to get the thing to stop asking me silly questions. Oh God. Sometimes.
Is Skype being helpful again?
Oh my God, yeah. I just want to add her to the call, and I'm trying to get her to come on. I'm going into the private thing to add her to the call, and it's going, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's like, she's right there. I can see it. So, yeah, computer's been acting a little odd today. I don't know what's going on with it. She's not... Carolyn. Yeah, it's not... That's so weird. And I'm trying to get her. Oh, I see the problem. It's like there's like this ginormous. There's this ginormous phone number in there that's wrong. So Carolyn, if you're listening, we'll call you in like just a second. But I don't know what the hell this thing is doing.
So Joe's asking about a sarsaparilla extract on the chat, and if anybody's used it. I haven't, but as I would suggest to anybody who's using any kind of extract where they're not sure exactly what it's going to taste like, try some diluted before you add it to anything you care about.
Yeah. Yeah, because that can be really, really awesome, or it can be really, really yucky.
Yeah, like I've got, I think I've got an Irish cream thing because my brother-in-law intended to make some like super alcohol and then add Irish cream extract to it, and I've got the stuff and I have no idea if it's any good. And if I do actually bother using it, I will try it with something else.
Oh, okay. Yeah, stop doing this thing. I keep going to add people, and it's like, no, it won't let me.
Oh, I know what it is.
It's you. We didn't do the dance.
We didn't do our usual rain dance for making the computer gremlins piss off and die.
I know, right? I'm trying to get her it's like it's not letting me add her to the call. So I'm just gonna see if I can just add a straight up number.
Yeah, try that, I guess.
Yeah. Show the dial pad. There we go. I like that. Okay, let's try this. I know you guys can probably hear the beep too.
Joe's talking about spending $30 on a blueberry extract that was gross. My experience with anything that's an extract, a lot of the time less is more, because the more of any kind of extract you use, if there's anything weird about it, the weirder the whole thing's going to be, the more you use. Yeah. So be very sparing with anything like that. I wouldn't, and the first time I use anything like that, I'd be very careful about exactly how much you're going to put in, because I've used things like stevia extract, and I find that you can add just enough to make it sweet without making it taste chemically, but like one drop too much, and now suddenly you get a mouthful of chemicals that. Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, you got to be really, really careful with that.
Be really careful with extracts. Yeah. Like, even vanilla extract, like, even making my own extracts, I'd want to make sure that I'm getting the right amount, because you never know exactly how potent anything is, because whatever you're making your extract out of, 3 vanilla beans may be very different 3 this year from 3 next year,
Yeah, totally.
So...
All right, let's see. We're trying to call. The thing's not showing me if it's calling Carolyn, so it's ringing. It should be ringing. It just doesn't tell me if it's ringing. I hate the new Skype. I really do. Carolyn,
Hi.
Hi. So I've been trying to get your number, and I had set you up as a contact, and Skype's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I finally just had to directly add your number, and there was like, seriously? Oh my God. Welcome to Got Mead Live, despite Skype trying very, very hard to keep you from coming. Usually we do our little cursing dance, which is basically the F-bomb song, and we do that before the show goes live to forestall any technological issues that may arise during the show. And generally, if we do it together, it's like an Indian rain dance. It tends to work fairly well. And we didn't do it today.
See, that must be the reason why.
Oh yeah, totally why. So, welcome to the show, and we've been talking up your sour mead experiment, and also the fact that you're doing beekeeping in Indiana, and some of the stuff you're up to there. So give us a little bit of background on you and that, so the folks listening know what's going on.
Okay, so the beekeeping thing started in about 2007, and I actually saw Queen of the Sun and decided I wanted to do what I could to keep bees myself and contribute to what was then colony collapse disorder. And so I got my first hive, and I decided that I was going to do foundationless, and that went all horribly wrong. And I was going to do natural beekeeping with no foundation and no treatment, and then ended up having crazy bees building comb wherever they wanted to. Because I didn't know how you had to guide them, and there wasn't really a very supportive community with regards to beekeeping in Bloomington. And however, I managed to muddle through and learned a lot by trial and error, and subsequently found another beekeeping club that was an hour away from Bloomington. And then we decided, found out there were a bunch of local beekeepers in Bloomington, so we decided to start our own club. And we've grown from about 4 beekeepers to about at least 30 active beekeepers in the area. And it's been a great group. It's very collaborative, and we've focused on sustainable beekeeping and trying to develop local bees that can get through Indiana winters. And so a lot of our group are very, forward-thinking in that they're not afraid to try and raise their own queens and do queen grafting, and we've had queen grafting classes. So we've all learned a lot together, and we've been a very committed group, very relaxed. Like we're accepting of a lot of different approaches to beekeeping. We've got top bar keepers, we've got Woolray hives, we've got Langstroth. So it's a very nice broad section of beekeeping.
Nice.
So we've learned a lot together. It's been great.
That's amazing that you got, from 8 to 30. That sounds awesome. How long have you been in Bloomington?
10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride, and actually just started a new job today in New York City, so I'm getting ready to make that move.
Yeah, I saw that you were headed that way. I saw the post. It was like new adventure and all that. That's a huge jump. You'll just have to get up with Bobby and do that, and do the the New York City beekeeping. There's a lot of that stuff going on up there.
Yeah, actually, as part of my interview process, I was talking about putting bees on top of the proton center, which they thought I was kidding about. They don't know me. Yeah, in fact, I was up on the roof today, and I was checking it out, seeing what services were there and if we had space to do it. So that's going to be a little side project of mine.
Cool. Cracks me up. They thought you were kidding. So what'd you say when you told them, no, actually, I'm quite serious?
Well, actually, I tried to get them to put it into my offer letter. Because I thought that would be really cool.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, that would have been really funny, but I got told that they'd probably in my boss and I in straight jackets. And I said, white jackets. I think he said, as long as it has a veil, I think we'd be okay.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so, it looks like we may do that. So I've got to check and see what the bylaws are and all of that kind of stuff. in the area that we're in.
Okay.
But yeah, that could be super fun.
Yeah.
That could be super fun.
Sounds like it.
I always like the idea of rooftop beekeeping, but don't they cook up there, or do you have to provide shade for them or something?
It depends. I think we can probably build like a shelter over them so that they're not in the sun and there is some shade up there. They were, I don't know, they were talking about putting a basketball court up there.
Right.
Yeah, okay, fine. Anyway, yeah, no, so definitely I'm going to research it and see if we can do it. I think that would be super fun. It's a great community thing to do, and the kids would get a big kick out of it, I think, as well.
Yeah, I imagine they would.
Yeah, especially when we get to bring the honey back down, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's always that part. That is pretty awesome.
Yeah. And then there's the mead for the adults. So that of course, I got a lot of attention with that. They said, "Oh, so we can make proton mead." I said, "Yeah, we could make proton bee mead. That would be super fun."
Now everybody's got a reason to be into it.
Yeah, right?
Right. Exactly.
So I hear you're doing some... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, so the sour mead project has been quite the journey as well.
It sounds...
Yeah, so you're going to be doing a presentation on that at the Mazer Cup, or at the AMMA.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I made 13 different meads using 13 different strains of bacteria-free souring yeast, and all using the same base traditional mead. I went for a semi-sweet a little bit, so you would get the flavor of the honey, but it would showcase the yeast. And so what I was going to do at the Mesa is do a quick presentation, a little bit about what we did with the whole project and where the whole idea came from. And but the most important thing will be tasting the mead and getting feedback on what people think about the yeast and the mead. Because each of these has a really different flavor profile. It's been a really fun project.
It sounds like it. So what? Don't get like too in detail because the talk is happening, so we want something to be kept, back for the people that are going to be coming. But what got you into the idea of doing sours? I mean, how'd you go there?
Okay, so this was really fun. There is a guy at IU. He's a microbiologist, and there were a group of them that did a project with using these bacteria-free souring yeast in beer wort, and it was. I ended up going to taste some meads that they made for a local distillery, and that was really interesting. So I'll tell that story. I'll tell that story at the Mesa. But I ended up going to taste these meads, and then one of the meads that he'd made was with one of these souring yeast, and it just tasted like, well, it smelled like fresh peaches, and that was just plain traditional, a traditional mead made with this particular yeast.
Huh.
And I was like, oh, I really like that.
Yeah,
and the flavor profile was fun. Yeah, and it was awesome. And I thought, okay, well, what if I put what if I put some fruit in there? What if I put some real peaches in there? So I made 2 batches, one with less fruit and one with more fruit, just peaches. And the flavor profile with the one with less fruit was actually better. Well, that was my personal thing. It was better than the one with more fruit. So the yeast, the esters and the flavor profile of the yeast came forward a lot more with less fruit. So that was really fun. And then when the grant opportunity came up, I was like, this would be super fun to try with mead. So we used the exact same 13 yeast strains that they used with the beer. So we will be giving feedback on all of the different yeast strains. This is why it's important that we get the feedback from everybody at the Mesa.
Nice. Yeah, I expect there's going to be a bit of a rush to get into that one because sour meads are kind of a growing trend. You know, there's only a few meaderies that are really doing them, and I don't know a ton of people who are making sour meads at home. I'm sure there are people, but you know, I haven't heard from a lot of them. So.
Yeah, it was really interesting because I can't remember who, one of the guys on Modern Mead Makers said to me, "Hey, you should pin a post on Milk and Funk, the Facebook group." Well, when I did, I got flooded with encouragement, and it was a great group of people. And of course, they mainly focus on beers, so they're very interested in the results as well. So that was a fun group too.
Yeah, well, that's cool that you were met with such enthusiasm as well. You know, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. And of course, there are a lot of scientists in that group because this is what they do, you know.
Yeah.
With all the breaks and the different sours, but they're using traditional. It's really interesting, also from a standpoint that the fact that you can treat these yeasts exactly the same way as you would our normal yeasts that we use to make meads, and it's basically not. You don't have to do anything special to sanitize your equipment or anything.
Well, now that's interesting. They're infection proof.
Exactly, they're bacteria free. So I wouldn't say infection proof, but you can still, you know, obviously you still have to use sanitization and good sanitary techniques, but you certainly can. For instance, if you're using a canning run, the canning people will not do a sour. They will not put a traditional sour through their equipment.
Huh.
Which was interesting to me.
That is interesting.
Whereas you could with these. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm gonna pull the pH, the final pH on all of these as well, and I'll have information sheets on each of the yeasts. So I think that will be really interesting. We'll see how they attenuate the alcohol, because everything started at an original gravity of 1.112.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got that the same across all 13 batches. So that was fun.
Yeah. So I was jumping back and forth between screens, so I may have missed this, but did you just buy the yeast, or are these wild, or what? No, so
these guys at IU, and I think they collaborated. There were 2 or 3 of them. They all collaborated together to harvest the yeast and then also grow the yeast strains. so they were grown in a lab environment. We've got the origins and everything of all 13, and where they came from. And there is a paper that they wrote for the beer.
Oh.
It could be kind of fun if we did it for the if we wrote something for the mead. I think that would be fun too.
Oh, you totally should. Yeah. I mean, I would love to see. I mean, that's one of the things that in mead we don't have enough of is scientific, official scientific experimentation and papers, white papers written thereof. So the more of that we can get, I think the easier it's going to be for people to learn to make good mead.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to give away all the things that I did because I'm going to talk about those in my talk. But it's, I use staggered nutrient addition for all of them. And it's going to be interesting because they're still fermenting. I racked them not last weekend, the weekend before. And they were some of them were still happily fermenting in the secondary. So I'm going to have to I'm going to bottle them on the weekend of the 10th, right before Mesa.
Okay. And you're schlepping them out by car, aren't you?
Right. It was the most cost-effective way to do it.
Yeah. 13, 2.5 gallons, 3 gallon carboy? Well,
3 gallons.
Yeah, so 3 times 13, that's a lot of mead. So we'll just have to...
I'm just waiting to get pulled out.
Once we do the tasting and everything, we'll just have to have those schlepped up to Carvin Sweet, and then they'll go away, and then you can go home with empty carboys, and it'll be really easy.
Except I'm not driving back.
Oh, you're not? Oh.
No, I'm flying back.
Oh, so what happens to the carboys? Oh, you're bottling. Never mind, you're bottling.
No,
I forgot. You told me you were bottling.
No,
yeah.
I'm bottling.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm bottling.
In my head, I see like 13 carboys sloshing about in the back of your car, which was the mental image I got before you told me the first time that you were bottling, and my brain just keeps going there.
You just hung on to that image.
Yeah, I did. Well, and AJ will tell you it's been a really complicated day today. My car died last night, and then I had to go fetch my parents at the hotel, and then run back and forth like 14 different times because the car was dead, and we had to take it to the shop, blah. Oh, it was just like, it was literally 5 o'clock before I ate or had time to sit down. So, Chris Hodge.
That's a crazy day.
I know, right? Chris Hodge is asking, what do you recommend a new person doing for their first mazer? Well, going is always good.
Drink lots of water.
You drink lots of water.
Lots of water. Twice as much as you think you need.
Don't swallow spit if you're going to be judging. Take it from somebody who got shit-faced before noon. Her very first time judging, because nobody told me that. Joe Vinciguerra is saying carboys on a plane. Is that like snakes on a plane?
That's not how he said it.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Yeah.
On an effing plane. How's that?
Channel your inner Samuel L. Jackson. There we go.
Yeah. Channel your inner Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. Yeah, and they're all saying science. So yeah, girl, you got to write a paper on this when it's all said and done. Take all the results that you get and everything.
Yeah, right. And so these guys did it. It was food microbiology, I think, was where the paper ended up.
Cool. If you've got the link for that.
For the beer stuff.
Okay, well, if you've got the link for that and can shoot it over to me sometime in the near future, that'd be great. I'll put it up on the page and get it out so that people can go track it down.
Absolutely, yeah, because it's got a really nice table on all the different yeasts that we use. It's in table 2 because the guys on Milk to Funk gave me a hard time and they said, "Oh, some of these are toxic." I'm like, dude, seriously, look on table 2. No, we had no adverse reactions.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So they go, oh, my bad.
Well, we've got
Yeah.
just a quick segue here. We've also got Theresa Dorr from Vinoshipper on the line. She's coming into play, and then we'll talk with her more about what they're doing later. But I just wanted to welcome Theresa to the call. Hey, Theresa, we're not ignoring you.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you. I love it. I'm learning.
Cool. Yeah, there's a lot to be said. So those of you out there listening and on the chat, you guys got any questions for Carolyn that won't make her give away secrets she's going to save till 3 weeks from now? And while they're doing that, I noticed in your write-up that that you like to push the envelope, Carolyn.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So talk about that. So is it Weirdables or just trying things that nobody's ever tried before, or both, or something different?
No, I think I do things like so I'm a fairly new mead judge, and I've got a very I don't know, I have an affinity for putting good flavors together, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or like different stuff that nobody's done before, or have you ever, have you ever made a cherry mead in the bourbon barrel?
Okay, so the answer to that is always yes, and then we move on, right?
Yes.
For anybody that's been on Modern Mead Makers, they know what we're talking about, because you get that question about 20 times a day.
Right. So here's something that I've done, and actually it turns out that somebody's done it before, but I was like, okay, well, this is kind of cool. Right. I made a starting with a very high gravity. I think it was 1140, like the hydrometer fell over.
I just finished one of those, so totally get it. Mine was like 1135, and everybody's like, what?
Right. Yeah, right. And I totally stressed the yeast out, but then I added another starter. But anyway, it was made with Luxardo cherries and California orange blossom honey.
Ooh, nice combo.
So basically, it's like a Manhattan.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think Sergio has done something similar. I don't know if he put oak or something in there. Anyway, that one is, oh my God, so good.
I had a
so
mead.
Good.
I had a mead from, and I think it's Liquid Alchemy does a Cosmo mead, and it's to die for. I mean, it tasted just like a Cosmopolitan.
Oh, Cosmo.
Okay. Yeah, and that was pretty awesome. And totally, I was like not expecting that at all. I like Weirdables. They're fun. You get to push the envelope.
I do too.
Mm.
Yeah, it is. And this, I'm going to bring out some of the original batch that I made with one of the yeasts. One was the peach and the two different amounts of peaches.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to bring those for Saturday night as well, so we can taste those with the fruit in there, as opposed to the ones that didn't have any fruit. So I think that would be a really interesting tasting for Saturday night.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally.
I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, that's what we'll have to do after the awards.
And plus, the more we drink, the less I have to move.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. So, Theresa, you're on the line. You've been hearing some of this. What are your thoughts on all of this?
I have to go read a heck of a lot more in order to learn a lot more. My goodness. I knew I was just barely stepping into the world of mead over the last couple of years, because I deal in the regulatory compliance side of it for direct-to-consumer, and I try to read as many websites and, pick up tidbits here and there, but fascinating, just fascinating. And I have to say, with being introduced to meads just in the last couple of years, I just love the characters that you guys all are, but you're also pretty hard driving business people as well. So it's just a nice balance, and this conversation just kind of supports it. I love it. I love pushing that envelope and the box and everything.
What box? There's a box?
I know, that was what I said one time.
They keep telling me about this box. I've never seen it. I don't like boxes, and I don't see any reason why I have to be in one.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So no, I find it fascinating. I have to go do a lot more research. So I'm looking forward to being out there and meeting you all in Colorado.
Yeah, it's going to be
Very
fun.
much so.
We're a wild bunch, but we're also a lot of really nice folks. I mean.
Well, that's what we found. Over at Vinoshipper now, we work with over 100 meaderies, and from across the whole country. And so it's really been kind of nice to meet the different levels of personality that go along with that, because there's definitely a place for everybody in this industry, but everybody is unique. And I'm also interested about those bees on the top of the towers in New York, so that would be interesting to follow up on too.
There was
an
article about rooftop bees in New York, and then there's also there's a guy in France who's doing rooftop beekeeping, and he's actually got a Twitter account. It's about rooftop beekeeping in, I think it's Paris. So it's one of the guys just typed, "Can't listen live tonight. A buddy of mine had a baby, and so we're drinking." Welcome to our world.
It's good to have priorities. It's good to have priorities.
That's right. Yeah, but
congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, there's a lot more urban beekeeping going on, especially in the cities that are big into community gardens and stuff like that. You got to have the bees. So, you see more and more of that. I suspect there'll be quite a bit more of that going on once Bobby and Carolyn join up together. It's going to be scary.
It'll be great to follow.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be great to follow. Look forward to learning about that as well.
Carolyn, are you going to be in town this weekend?
Yeah, maybe
in New York City?
No, I've got. I'm getting ready to sell my house, so unfortunately, okay. I'm heading out tomorrow night. So.
Okay, that's a bummer because I'm going to be up there for the fermentation fest. So, but that's all right. I'll catch you in another. Well, I'll see you at the. I'll see you in 3 weeks. So
Right, and then I'll definitely be there next year.
Yeah, I suspect I will be as well. So.
Yeah.
So, blah 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 blah. So, what have you been working on? What are your favorite kinds of things to do, Carolyn?
What, like me?
Yeah. I mean, you're a mead maker. What are you playing with aside from the we can't tell you any more about this.
Save it for the conference.
Save it for the conference. Yeah, right.
My super secret stuff. I don't know. So I tried my first boucher, which was super fun, and so I like to experiment with different flavors, as I said before, that not a lot of people would put together. The Weirdomels are my thing. I did learn that just because you can put everything into a mead, you probably shouldn't. It was really funny. I don't know if there was a serious run on blackberries last summer, but at the Indiana Brewers Cup, I judged the professional. We judged the professional group, and we had 13 different variations of blackberry mead.
Wow, that's
insane.
That's insane. Yeah. I'm actually drinking a blackberry blossom mead right now, but it's not a melomel. It's just a traditional with blackberry mead, or blackberry honey, I mean.
Oh, well, see, so that's different.
Mm-hmm, totally, yeah.
These ones had blackberry, bourbon, espresso, coffee, bourbon barrel, cardamom, and any variation thereof. It was insane.
Yeah, that sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. I adore blackberries, and putting them with spices is just that much better. Yeah. cardamom would be interesting.
It
Now you
is,
got
but
me
you've also
thinking.
got to you've got to be careful with the tannins too,
Yeah.
especially if they're very young. Because you put espresso, blackberry, cardamom all together. That's a lot of stuff right there.
Yeah, you're going to want to back sweeten that a little bit if it comes out too tannic. Otherwise, it's just going to make your tongue shrivel up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Try 13 of those back to back, and we weren't spitting.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that would be rough. That would be rough. I've doing Weirdamels, especially since up until just recently, all the pepper meads end up in the Weirdamel category, because there's no category for capsicumels yet. That may happen, but it would be, I always put up when they ask, if you have a a category that you prefer, I always go Weirdamels. They know this anyway, that just my favorite category. But so I often get put into it, and you'll end up with like a flight that's chipotle, and then jalapeno, and various and sundry other things. And there's sometimes it's like chipotle coffee meads, and so you get chipotle, and then you get jalapeno, and then you get that guy who likes ghost peppers, and then there's the guy that thinks that ghost peppers aren't hot enough, so let's do a Carolina Reaper, and it's like, I look at this flight, and I'm like, is there anything I have to do after this? Because I'm not going to have a palate at all. It's going to get burned out, like completely and utterly, might not be able to taste anything for days,
Can somebody please bring me a vat of sour cream that I might soak my tongue in after this?
Yeah, it's like, can you guys bring me some milk, please? Oh my god! Yeah, I'm much happier when the Weirdamels are things like well, we had the one year it was a beet mead, and somebody had made, and it was literally day glow pink. I mean, kid you not, thing glowed in the dark, and it was surprisingly good. I was actually quite interested in it. I don't like beets. Beets make me gag. Like the smell, the taste, everything. Beets, raw, cooked, I don't care. They make me gag. And this beet mead, of course, somebody had to bring it to me because they know I hate beet meads because I've said so often enough. And so like, Vicky, try this. And I tried it. I'm like, wow, that's really good. And then, what is it? And they're like, beets? Wow, that's really interesting.
Actually, beets can be really good if you roast them. They caramelize, and so that's a whole fun experimentation road to go down.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind roasting them and maybe trying them in a mead, but I won't eat them. I won't. Sorry, not gonna happen. I won't.
I'm
I
a
refuse.
total beet fan over
Yeah,
here.
she's
I grow
the other
3
way,
different
yeah.
kinds in the garden.
Yeah.
I adore them. I eat them raw.
She'll eat my beets.
I'll eat the beets for you.
She'll eat the beets for me, yeah.
But yeah, beet mead is on my to-do list.
Yeah,
which is like 5 pages long now.
Well, there's sugar. I mean, you get right down to it. I mean, Michigan produces tons and tons of sugar beets. It's a huge, ag business in Michigan, and possibly in other states as well. But yeah, a lot of people are chipping in with beets. Awesome. And Bobby Slan says he's bringing Reaper mead.
The nice thing with beets is that they're really sweet, but the problem is sometimes they taste like dirt, and I love beets. I don't like them when they're dirt flavored. So it's one of those things where I've learned that if it smells too much like earth, that I just double peel them.
Yeah, I'm more of a rutabaga gal when it comes to root veggies. Yeah, I love me some rutabagas and turnips. Those are good. Don't like beets.
I had a really good sweet potato mead.
I've heard that. I haven't tried to do one yet, but I have heard that you can make some pretty good. And it seems to me, because sweet potatoes and pumpkins are so close together, that that would work out pretty well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they actually do enhance each other's flavors, from what I hear.
Yeah. I want to make a mead from, and I forget, it's the squash that they use for canned, quote-unquote, pumpkin. This Libby's canned pumpkin that they have in the stores. That's not actually pumpkin. It's a squash. But that's what
pumpkins.
Yeah, it's
Oftentimes it almost doesn't matter what kind of squash, because pretty much if you put pumpkin spice in them, they all taste the
They
same.
all taste the same.
But
yeah.
most of the time, the squash is a lot, with the exception of spaghetti squash, of course. Squash is a whole lot less stringy than pumpkin, so it tends to cook down better.
Oh, Chris Hodge says he's working on a banana cream pie mead. There's a whole series of oh no, I'm getting invited around when I go to New York City this weekend. There's a whole bunch of just interesting new stuff coming in. People trying, pushing the envelope, and doing things with weird things. I'm loving seeing it because people are getting so creative. Not all of it works, but
Yeah. So one really cool mead that I tasted, and this was a long time ago, was a collaboration between Crafted and Cigar Brewing in Tampa when they did that key lime pie mead.
Yeah, I saw the posts about that.
Oh my God!
I haven't had it yet. Was it amazing?
It was really good, and honestly, so I was working up in Ohio at the time, and I went to go and visit Crafters, and they were telling me that they lost about a third of their product because they used real graham crackers.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, that
weird.
would make
First made
sense. Yeah. Well, Brad at Bee Nectar did that with their apple pie. It had, apple pie with crust, and they used graham crackers, and I don't know how much they lost. I never really asked, but it makes sense. They would, fudge up and leave a lot of grunge.
That key lime pie, honestly, it tasted like you were biting into a slice of key lime pie. It had all the flavor profiles with how they got the meringue you had everything.
Did you get any
It was really good.
Did you get any of Sergio's pecan pie mead?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Was that amazing?
Good.
Oh my God. I bought 2 bottles because that was the max you could buy, right? And they were gone like in about 20 minutes. Because we had Christmas. It was at Christmas time, so I had my daughter and son-in-law here, and I just glasses all around, and yeah, those. Oh God, that was so good. But I love the pie meads. There's a lot of that going around. I know Sergio's doing a series of cheesecake meads. No idea how, but it sounds really interesting.
It was a raspberry cheesecake, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and apparently there are others yet to come. That's just the first cheesecake mead.
And Sergio is from where?
Sergio owns Melavino in New Jersey. It is currently the only meadery in New Jersey. Well, no, wait. There's one other meadery in New Jersey, but Sergio was the first one. And his meads are... I have yet to have a mead Sergio made that wasn't amazing.
Yeah.
And I've had...
I mean, I'm already sold. So.
Oh, yeah. You got to get them. You guys... I'm pretty sure you guys have got them on your site. So...
I think we do. I'm looking them up right now. So.
Yeah, you want some of this. It's all really good. If you like fruits,
do already. I want it all.
If you like fruity things, get A Murder of Crows. It is amazing. So good. Oh God. I mean, I'd have to run down the list of all the ones I bought, but I've been working my way through them, and I haven't had one yet that I didn't like completely,
Work.
Dakota Clover honey.
The what?
Say it again.
His Dakota Clover, the traditional made with the Dakota Clover honey. Oh my goodness,
it's amazing. Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, it was. I basically got like a whole series of all of his Melomels. Oh my God, they're all of them just stunning, just amazing. But yeah, I mean, there's Theresa, we could go on and on and on about what meaderies you need to get mead from, and then you just pretty much just hand your paycheck over to Vinoshipper.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, pretty much. Hopefully they'll give you a break on the shipping, because that'll kill you, man. That's the only reason I don't spend more money on Vinoshipper, is because I'll go in and I've got my cart full of mead from like 6 meaderies from 5 different states, and then I look at it and it's like I've got $250 worth of mead and $175 in shipping. It's like, ow.
I know, it's crazy. They are discounted rates. I just did a comparison for somebody today, so they are good. But yeah, it's a tough thing to ship, and all the surcharges and everything that go along with that for, adult signature and whatever they can dream up. We do waive all those, but still, it's just, it's, but it's worth the effort, it sounds like. So I'm really glad.
Well, there's so many people that can't get the meads. I don't know. What's it like can you guys order stuff to be shipped directly to you in Indiana? Carolyn?
No, and I think unless something's changed, I couldn't join Melavino's club, so I moved to New York.
Yeah, there you go. Well, the last I heard, Indiana was even worse than some of the southern states for being able to ship meat.
Oh my God,
it was
bad.
awful. Yeah, I saw that. Well, I saw that
It's
article
really
about like what they're doing to make it hard for places in Indiana to ship to people in Indiana. It's like, do you not want to make money, really? So.
Oh my God. Well, Illinois just woke up too, but by the fact, Vinoshipper, if you are a Vinoshipper meadery registered here, we will ship into Illinois and Indiana for you.
Oh, cool.
So we are compliant that way. So that is one way to go for it. Yeah.
Now, when you get it, now the big question here, Theresa, is when y'all gonna get Canada? Because that's where AJ lives, in Canada.
We are working on things. We are absolutely working on things. Yeah.
I remember John. Is it John Day telling me that?
John.
Or no, it was one of the guys. Somebody.
Ryans
one of the
Monroe?
Canadian. Yeah. Okay. I think it was Monroe. Was saying that it was more difficult to send mead to a local restaurant than it was to send it to Japan.
Huh.
It was easier to send it to Japan than to get it into a local restaurant. The regulations here are ludicrous. So I appreciate the sentiment, but I'm not holding my breath for Vinoshipper.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen this year, but yeah, it's just, and then you get a little tiny state like Illinois, or you get somebody like Connecticut who says, great, we can ship to Connecticut. Oh, by the way, you have to register every single label for $200 every other year. Right?
Lord.
So and then there's California. Give us $10. You can ship in all you want. File your taxes once a year.
California don't care.
We welcome it.
California's like, we'll ship it in, we'll ship it out. Just as long as we're drinking, it's all good.
And we'll take your taxes too. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know. And then there's Minnesota, which is really easy and free, and it's just crazy. It's just, and when you find the ones that are just sticklers, you just got to go, why? Don't you want the money? Don't you want the tax money? Don't you want to help your local business people?
No,
I'm trying to give you my money.
No, come on.
No,
I live in the state where they would rather lose a couple of $100 million in revenue than let people use the bathroom that they want.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, not to go political, and we're not going to go there, but the point is that they were so stuck on a concept that literally they lost new headquarters of companies that were thinking about coming here. They lost, I don't even know how many annual conferences that have been coming here for years that said no more, bye-bye. And, I mean, it just went on and on and on. And people are screaming going, dude, that's tax money. We're already upside down on the budget. What's wrong with you? And the government's going, well, we have this thing, we don't really care. So, yeah, it's states do stupid stuff. And, I mean, they don't think about it. For the longest time, North Carolina, in order for a meadery, a winery, a brewery to ship in here, they had to sign up with a distributor and keep like a ridiculous amount of product in a warehouse somewhere in the state. And you get the micro places, most meaderies are small, like really small. They can't, put a pallet of mead in a warehouse somewhere. They can't.
No, but that's the case with the majority of wineries. Over 90% of wineries create less than 5,000 cases, much less. So, I mean, when people come to Vinoshipper, it's funny because they're like, well, we're just small producers. I'm like, well, welcome. You found your home, because most of us are the small producers. And exactly, we can't get a large distribution because they want to turn around and say, give us another pallet. And you're like, well, we didn't even make a pallet. So, it's just part of the conundrum. But then as a marketing person, I love that because it's limited, and I love that. So, and plus with direct to consumer, and here I'm already on my soapbox now. Yeah. This is just to make work. Direct to consumer, you set your own profit margin. It's not like a distributor is going to come to you and say, okay, well, I need it at 40 to 60% off. Direct to consumer, if you're selling out like that key lime, or the pecan pie, wow, and you let it go at full price. I mean, and then it's gone, and people are waving more money at you to make more. That's fabulous, and you're in control of that. It's not anybody else deciding what the price of your wine or mead or cider is going to be, and what they're going to charge for it. If you have a $35 bottle and you walk into a retail store and they decided to sell it for $25, they've degraded your brand. So I love direct to consumer. Big fan.
No, like prejudice or anything because you like work there.
I'll tell you, I've been in wine for 18.
Uh-huh.
So, and I started, I live in Livermore, and I'm lucky enough to work out of my home most of the time in my home office. But I worked in one of the local wineries, and I poured at the bar, and I was tired of saying, I can't ship to Texas. They don't have a permit. Can't ship to Washington. Can we ship to Oregon? No, can't ship to Oregon. All these little states where people either wanted to, they came in on holiday, so they didn't want to carry their wine back with them.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to ship it, or they wanted to ship a gift. And so I had my eye on Vinoshipper for a long time. But I actually started my own software company in the wine industry with wine clubs. And so I did know the benefit of wine clubs. And how that can generate the recurring business for you and keep the doors open for your business by generating that income coming in. So, I mean, I've been long in the industry before Vinoshipper picked me up, but I just kind of had my eye on them thinking I need to get with them one day, and they found me, and eventually it happened. So, lucky me.
Yeah, sounds like it. So, Carolyn, that's how you're going to get your meat, even in New York. That's from what I understand that they've got goofy laws too. I don't know how goofy they are, but at least you'll be able to get your mead.
Well, at least I'm within driving distance of Sergio.
Yeah, that's very true. Within driving distance of Sergio, and there's 6 or 7. Bobby and I were just talking about this. Meaderies in New York right now, with a couple more fixing to open. So, granted, some of them are like in Buffalo, but still.
Yeah, I'm not driving there, but...
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's a long drive. But, if you drove to Buffalo, you could, connect up with AJ, because, AJ's just up in Ottawa there,
Ottawa.
Yeah, so it's not terrible.
Right.
If you bring mead with you, who knows what could happen. Oh, Jaden's
absolutely. I don't think. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, carry on.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. Jaden's asking, was it Sergio did the Graham Cracker? Sergio did one. B Nectar did one. And blah blah. It was not Colony. It was who was it that did the
Crafted.
Thank you.
Crafted.
Yeah, Crafted Meadery did a collab. They're the ones who did the key lime mead.
Yeah, with Cigar Brewing in Tampa.
Yeah.
Has anybody tasted the creme brulee mead that I hear about?
Ooh, I haven't had that one yet.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, who
Sounds
makes that
fantastic.
one, I wonder?
Who did that?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look it up again, but there was a creme brulee mead that one of my guys was talking about all the time, somewhere back east. I want to say New Hampshire. But I'll look it up and let you guys know. But that was the one that made me also drool. So.
Okay, let's see here. Crave makes one. But that was a couple years ago. I don't know if Crave's still open. Coonan makes a creme brulee, and I've had that, and it's really amazing.
Is it?
Yeah, it was really, really good. Coonan does tiny little meads. They do short batches, and the mead maker there is pretty awesome. Let's see here. I'm not seeing it pop up, but yeah, I'll have to look on Vinoshipper then and. Vinoshipper, that website where they ship things.
There you go. What do they ship?
yeah, all kinds of stuff. Beer and meat and wine. Let's see here, creme brulee. All right. Let's see if anything pops up. Okay, the search is not doing anything. Come on.
No, I think we searched by winery name, not necessarily
y'all
by
need
product.
y'all need to fix that. I know search
trust
by
me.
winery
Take a look at the
name, it's like-
website.
yeah, please tell them to create a search that lets you search by flavor profiles or something.
Oh yeah, we need a totally new
You do.
website, but that compliance first. You know how that goes.
Oh
Compliance.
yeah.
The pretty
compliance
part
first.
of my world.
Yeah.
So, but I know it's out there, so I'll hunt it down and let you guys know.
Okay.
So I'll make a note of it. Creme brulee.
Oh, Bobby
That's
says he's
when you-
going to do his caramel, chocolate, vanilla, and sea salt in a collab with Melavino this year. So that'll be a commercial. Yeah. I know. It's anything that's caramel, sea salt, I'm just all over that, man. God, I love caramel and sea salt.
If we have a microwave in the room, I can make you some.
Oh, I know. Oh, I've made salted caramel in my crock pot before, and it's like the bomb diggity, which is why I don't make it anymore, because I sit there and eat it and eat it and eat it and eat it until it's gone. And there's no...
8 minutes in the microwave.
Really? Oh, my God.
Yep, quick and dirty. It's awesome.
Uh-oh.
Makes great hot chocolate. And one of these days, I think I'm going to try putting some in a mead.
I think you should. Yeah, creme brulee. Now you got me thinking about creme brulee mead. Curse you, Teresa.
So you're welcome. I can feel the warm hugs. So thanks.
So Carolyn, have you ever
That's
played
like-
with caramel or chocolate in your way out experiments?
Not yet. So obviously I'm taking a little break while I do a move, and
Well,
I want to buy. So I want to buy a conical. I want to do something with cocoa nibs and I don't know what else. So maybe a butterscotch or something like that
Ooh, cocoa and
would be
butterscotch.
fun.
Yeah, chocolate and butterscotch would be amazing. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yep.
I want to see. Somebody
I
was
think
talking
that would
about doing
be
a
fun.
butterbeer mead on one of the mead groups. I can't remember where I saw it, but they were talking about doing a butterbeer mead, like the Harry Potter butterbeer, which
Oh, that's a Harry
basically,
Potter.
yeah, and well, it's basically butterscotch and something like a cream soda and marshmallow fluff, basically. And those are the three big flavors that are in there. Yeah, so you could totally do that with like meadow foam and.
I was just going to say meadow foam would be perfect for that.
Yeah, it would. Meadow foam, and I'd add some vanilla, and then the hard part would be, well, I don't know. I mean, something with the butterscotch. I'm not sure. Actually, you could probably throw butterscotch candies in there. Crunch them all up and toss those in there. And butterbeer is carbonated, so you just keg it and
And pour carbon.
yeah. And then see what you could do is when you serve it, you could throw a dollop of marshmallow fluff on top of it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Lord.
oh, Jaden.
That's
Jaden's
going
saying,
to sugar coma.
I know, right? Jaden is saying Werther's candies. That actually might work better than just plain butterscotch candy. Okay, now here we go. This is going to happen, right?
Macintosh's toffee. Oh.
Toffee would be good. Do you like an English toffee? But yeah, I mean, there's a whole series of candy bar meads that people have been talking about on various groups and in the forums, and those would be fun too. Think about it, like a Snickers mead.
Oh, Almond Joy.
Oh,
Toasted
God,
coconut.
yes. Almond Joy, yeah. Chocolate and coconut. I love Almond Joys. Oh, those are so good. Yeah. You could totally do that with coconut and cocoa nibs and...
Coconut.
Yeah, I do that with I think I do that with a clover or a wildflower honey.
Almond. Oh, a marzipan.
Marzipan,
God.
yeah.
Ooh.
Well, now there's a
That's almond.
Thistle Meadery in Australia does a oh shoot, I'm having a blank on the name. Okay, what's the candy that the little boy gets from the Ice Queen in Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe? Quick quiz.
Turkish Delights.
Thank you.
Oh,
Turkish Delight.
She has a Turkish Delight mead. I have a bottle of it.
Mm.
I'll have to bring it with me.
Oh, so Turkish Delight. Turkish Delight is rose, and it's got chocolate on the outside.
Yeah,
or you can have it just with the powdered sugar on top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I've made it several times, but I've never made it with rose. I usually make raspberry.
Yeah. Yeah, I prefer
But rosewater's
the rose
rosewater's traditional.
Yeah, I prefer the rose to the raspberry generally. One of the ones that has been kind of on my list, and I've got to get some more supplies to deconstruct the taste, is cherry ripes from Australia. Or actually, yeah. I get friends from Australia that occasionally bring me cherry ripes, and I love the damn things. And I want to taste some more, and see. Oh, Jaden's like going nuts with flavor profiles now. He says Rotomel with cocoa nibs, or maybe a raspberry rose.
Yeah, raspberry rose.
That'd be good.
Well, and there are also so many teas you can do as well. You know.
Yeah.
Pineapple teas. Oh, rooibos. They've got a rooibos with green mango.
Ooh.
Oh God,
and
yum.
chili.
That would be fun.
Oh, so
I'm gonna
good.
after we get back from the conference and the Mazer Cup, because I don't have time to deal with it right now. I've got like 15 different interesting quote-unquote teas from Tivana and various places, but they're mostly, like flowers and dried fruits and things like. There's not a lot of tea in these teas, rooibos and whatnot.
Herbal teas as opposed to tea leaves.
Exactly, yeah. So they're herbal teas. There's a lot of rooibos in there and stuff. I love the taste of rooibos. I would love to do a rooibos-based mead that would be layered up with various fruity flavors, because rooibos is just a wonderful flavor by itself.
The bulk food store here makes a
It
really
is.
good vanilla rooibos here.
Oh, I love vanilla rooibos.
Yeah.
Huh, Jaden says, I'm sad Tivana is dead in Canada. There's Starbucks now, honey. Yeah, Starbucks bought Tivana 2 years ago.
You can take your Starbucks and take it home, please.
That's why I don't buy Tivana anymore.
We have David's teas around here, and they're pretty good.
Ah, okay. But yeah, I got a whole bunch of. I'm a tea horse, so I bought all these different teas, and they just been sitting there looking at me, and I'm going, I really, I bought them because I love the smells and I love the way they tasted when they were brewed, and I had this vague idea that I'd be like drinking all of them as iced tea or something, but now they've just sat there, and I want to do something with them, and making mead seems to be the best thing. So I have to. Sorry about the noise. I just took my glasses off. I have to get in touch with my honey supplier, which is Bee Folks in Maryland, and arrange to get another bucket because I've about cleaned out my orange blossom and I'm running low on honey. And not going to use my remaining meadow foam for a tea mead. That's going to be a traditional. So, and Theresa, have you ever had a meadow foam mead?
Not at all. Not yet. I'm gonna
meadow
look forward
foam
to that,
honey
though.
tastes like marshmallow fluff.
I'm in. I'm so in.
Bucket
It is-
list.
It is, yeah, it is one of the most awesome honeys in existence. I mean, it's hard to get and it's expensive, but there are 3 or 4 commercial meaderies that make a meadow foam. One of them is Moonlight, and they do ship through you guys.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
I'm trying to
The
remember.
closest, I'm just horribly searching for this creme brulee. I didn't find the Banana Fosters.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
The Banana
Did
Fosters.
find that
Oh, who is it that makes that? I think I've had that.
And that's crafted as well.
Is it?
Pardon?
Okay. That's Crafted Meadery, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I had that
Yeah.
one. They've got Bananas Foster. They've got Chocolate Bananas Foster. I actually still have that one. And I drank the Bananas Foster. It did not last long. And he sent me a flight of 6. And I've been drinking them on the show and doing reviews of them on the show, and every one of them has been really, really good.
Yeah.
Well, they just did their club run today, their first club run. So they started a Mead Club.
Oh, cool.
And are doing regular releases out to their fans. So especially when there's a small release, now he can guarantee that they're going to get something special with the club. So I was talking with them today, actually.
Cool. God, if I joined every Mead Club that I wanted to join, I wouldn't have any money left.
I know. I know. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
But yeah. But it's a good thing. It's a very, very good thing.
It is a
So
good thing. Well, that's what you're going to be talking about at the conference, right? Is Mead Clubs?
yeah, it is. And one of the things I realized when I was working with a lot of the wineries is, you can't depend on the bus showing up or even the weather to make sure that you're going to have enough business coming through the doors. And you never know if people, even if they love you, if they're even going to make it back through your doors. So then, or back to the farmer's market or wherever it is that you happen to be. So in the winery I was working at, we had a club and we really kind of just put it to the side. But when I started to look at the revenue it could bring in for us, and I realized these club members, those people are ambassadors. They're bringing in their friends, their family. When they need to go buy something, they come to us a lot of the time as their first option. And so we really started to look at the revenue that it could generate, the ambassadorship and the marketing that it generates for free out of that. And they love you. So what's bad with that, right?
Yeah.
And so I started studying the clubs, and I actually started my own software company for wine club management and built software for it. So I learned, through pain, blood, and tears, a lot of the best practices. So that's what I'm going to kind of encapsulate and share at in the program that we have coming up. And it's a pretty tight program, but people usually walk away from it with some good food to help them streamline their club as they design it, as they manage it, and get more money out of it, which is really the point. So you can continue your marketing and making mead.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, and a lot of meaderies are in places that have a certain level of seasonality. That they've got, especially if they're in tourist towns or in tourist areas. A perfectly good example would be. God, I'm trying to think of one of the ones that's like basically in a tourist trap town. All right, the ones that are in like northern Minnesota and stuff like that. They're up there. They're up there in the boondocks. So you're gonna get you're in rush of hikers and tourists and whatnot in the summertime, but in the winter it's like just the locals. And
right.
You've got to be able to keep that business going. So I think that's really awesome.
Well, even talking about Kent, over at Crafted, they have the seasonal weather as well.
Yeah, they do.
So even though I'm in California, there's times, this last year where we had 115 degrees. People were not really running outside to go and drink. We were all huddling in the corner feeling sorry for ourselves.
With your parkas on, trying not to freeze to death, yeah.
With our 2% humidity. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. It's so humid. Like, this is not hot. This is not. So, right? But nonetheless, that was the fun part of the club. And, I think that's what Kent saw over at Crafted, that it keeps the business going, even though the weather isn't agreeing with us sometimes. And it's predictable revenue. So if you need to buy bottles, you need to file licenses, you need certain expenses coming in, you're not depending on that tourism, which is definitely nice to have that stream of revenue. Even in a small club, Sugars, even if you have 100 people in your club, now I'm going to have to do math in my head. You do 100 people in your club at $70 a release. That's, what is that? $7,000 a year, $28,000 a year potential coming into your pocket.
Yeah.
And kind of easier to grow because you have a base of people who already say, yes, I want it. And even though people like you can't necessarily stay in one club forever and ever and ever, you'll float around. It's still great. The nice part too is the more variety that your club members have from you, instead of just saying, oh, I always want the creme brulee. That's all I want. That's all I want. It's not always going to be there. So the more products I like from your particular meadery, the better the chances are that I'm going to stay loyal with you and not hunt around. So I'll just keep on your experience and grow with you a lot of the times, which can really help with that revenue as well.
Yeah. I'm wondering, and this is something I've thought about as I go cruising through y'all's mead site, and I just start going, ooh, that looks good, and I like that, and oh my gosh, I really want that. So I end up with like a whole bunch of meads from a whole bunch of different meaderies. I'm really hoping that the day will come when you guys can do like mixed cases and it would be, and I don't know, I know you guys are subject to whatever the shipping people decide to do, you know, is to be able to do a mixed case and not have the shipping be as much as the cost of the case.
Right.
I've got like $400 in my cart right now, but it's like I'm gonna have to like cut it way back if I want to be able to do it.
I know. Well, thank you very much for $400. But the bottom line is, gosh, who is it who's starting Southern California? He's hanging around, just looking at this, and
There's
he's on the list.
Yeah,
he's
there's
coming
half
up.
a dozen in San Diego area. If it's one of the Southern
There's-
Californias.
So they're starting this group called Mead Club,
Yeah.
Southern California.
Okay.
And we're working with them. And he was looking at saying, oh, we could do the Mead Club of Colorado, or we could do the Mead Club of Sunset. The idea here gets back to the point you guys made about 25 minutes ago, which is if we do that Mead Club, the logistics of bringing your mead all into one location so I can ship you 12 different bottles in one case from one location, which would make it affordable for you. It's hard for the mead makers to say, great, we'll give you a pallet or we'll give you this. So we'll work with organizations like alumni associations for universities. We pre-sell everything. Pretty much most of the time. So we know before we go out and do custom labeling, oh, we've already pre-sold, 3 pallets of this. And it's a variety. And it could be just 3 cases. It doesn't have to be a huge volume or anything like that. So that's what we're working on. And you'll talk to the guy. Let me click on him and see what his name is. Alex Gonzalez.
Alex. Yeah, I know Alex. He's actually speaking at the conference.
Yeah,
he's on one of the panels. But yeah, Alex and Billy Belts and basically they're all right around the San Diego area. I got to go hang out with them at one of their meetings, and it was really cool because I got to try all their meads at once. It was really neat. Made it interesting because I'm driving this giant truck from San Diego back up to LA, and been tasting all these meads. But I think that's a great idea. Yeah, you could totally do that. I mean, there's like 22 meaderies in Michigan, and there's 18 meaderies in Washington, and we've got 4 or 5 here in North Carolina, and there's 3 or 4 in Florida. So yeah, that potential. Yeah. I mean, it would be like sample. It would be like a taste of California, a taste of Colorado, a taste of Michigan. I think that would be an awesome solution.
Exactly, and then. I'm glad you like that. It wasn't my idea. It was Alex's idea that he brought to the table over to Vinoshipper. And then it was odd that he just chose Southern California. But, up in Northern California, we have, it's not all Napa. I'm, hour and a half from Napa. So I kind of like, we're out here. We're not Napa, but we're here. And so it'll be interesting to see where he takes that idea as it launches on through, because that's it, and maybe I'm only making 2 varietals. So, I don't really have a lot to fill up a case order, or I need your help to work together on that. And I also think sometimes when, if you had 2 different, let's go back to this pecan pie that's popping into my head. It's one thing for me to taste one of the pecan pies, but if I taste 2 or 3 side by side, then all of a sudden you guys are educating my palate, because now I can taste the difference. Yeah. So I'm not going to have the palate that you guys have as you do your judging, but all of a sudden, if you've engaged me that way and you're helping me learn, I'm like, yeah, I can't wait till next month's release. And I want to see if I can taste the difference between the cherry pies or, whatever that happens to be in that offering. But yeah, we're pretty excited to work with Alex.
Yeah, Alex is good people, and and he and the rest of the gang down in San Diego have really created a team. But okay, Jaden is asking. He's in Western Canada. Okay, and he said he works at a U make meadery. So like the people come in and they create their meads, and then they're brewed and kept at the location, and then they can come and pick it up. But he's curious about member rewards clubs and how to keep costs down while doing instructional gatherings, and he was hoping to hear a little about that. That's probably not something that's like in the context of your talk in any case. It's kind of off the side.
Oh, we actually always do talk about benefits.
Oh, okay.
Because that's how you stand out. I mean, if you think of the wineries, they don't have the varietals that all the different flavors that you guys have.
Yeah.
They have
we have
no
box. They have a box.
Right? That's right. You enjoy that a little bit too much, but that's okay. I like that.
I do, yeah. why I'm
But
in
yeah,
mead, not
so I will
wine.
be talking about the different benefits, and one of the fastest, and I learned this because I was teaching at Niagara teaching school, and I was looking, and I researched over 200 clubs up in Canada, and they were case clubs. If you came down here, we were all doing our little 3-bottle clubs. And like, why are we leaving 9 bottles on the table if we're only, asking you to sign up for 3 measly bottles 4 times a year? Canada's got it. They're shipping a case. Oh my gosh, they're shipping it every other month, if not every month. And they're not allowed to discount. What the heck?
Yeah.
So I came back really upset that we were leaving so much money on the table, and really impressed with Canada. And the bottom line is they really are not dependent on a discount because they're not allowed to discount. They have to be dependent on those types of benefits that go along with it. I have to make you feel special. And so I started collecting lists and lists of benefits that I'll be sharing at the speech. But, one of the quickest, easiest ones is going down to an Office Depot and getting a metallic pen and signing a bottle. And I was not a winemaker. I'm not a winery owner. I'm not a mead maker. I'm not a meadery owner of any kind, but I pour. And people think we live these romantic, fabulous lives. And they don't know. And we do. But they don't know we're the same people who plunged the toilet and did everything, cleaned the floor and picked up the broken glass as well, and everything all our clothes are stained. So because we make mead.
Yeah.
So what we started doing is just making sure the pens were there and signing the bottle. And it was really kind of nice to put a couple of the signed bottles on the back counter so people would see them going, what's that? And you're like, oh, it's an autographed bottle from our mead maker. And they're like, oh my gosh, I want it. How do I get that? Well, you join the club. Or however you want to go about doing it.
Take
Sometimes
my money,
you bring
please.
the exactly. And I remember one of the times that I was working a passport weekend someplace, and something had rubbed me the wrong way, and I just couldn't get my attitude to be cheerful. And they had this fabulous sale on a case, and I just couldn't. I'd offer it, tell them the benefit, and I just couldn't move it. And I saw my friend who was the winemaker in this case. And I'm like, Deanna, did you get a pen on you? She goes, yeah. I'm like, okay, get ready to sign. And I started offering, she'll sign a couple of the bottles. And within an hour, we had cases sold. So nice little benefit. Cost you $8.95 in tax to get that metallic pen to sign a couple bottles.
Yeah.
People love it. And that's one of the benefits. You want to make sure you just go ahead.
I was just going to say, you ought to see what bottles signed by Ken Schramm at Schramm's Mead go for on the, they're the resale market. People go and they buy the signed bottles and then they turn around and sell them for like 200 times their sold value.
Fabulous.
Yeah. There's meads that sell for $150 for a 500 ml bottle that turn around and sell for $3,000 on the secondary market.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I haven't seen the 3,000 ones, but we work with Schramm as well, so that's a good thing. Initially when we were working we have some 1970, 1980 rock bands that were doing the autographs, and they were funny because they were talking about autographing the bottles. Like, oh, the mead maker's going to do it? And like, no, the artist. And you're like, oh, I guess that's okay. So it's what the people wanted.
Well, you guys are.
But the band.
You're shipping for John Talkington's meadery, and he's in Delaware, and he has actually done some collab meads where there's a band that he likes. He does metal. I'm not sure if it's heavy metal or death metal or what kind of metal it is, but it's some kind of metal. And,
some flavor of metal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's got a Viking themed place, and it's really cool. It's the decor is amazing, and anyway, so he's shipping through you guys, and they had one that they did a collab, and I don't know if they've got the artist. I think the artist signed some of the bottles. So yeah, it's happening. It's out there doing it.
Yeah, we have Fog Hat, and they're the ones who had that.
I love Fog Hat.
Oh wow!
I love Fog Hat.
Slow ride, take it easy. Yeah.
I've got all their
So
albums.
those guys are fun. Oh, do you?
I got the vinyl in the
Come on.
basement.
I grew up in the 60s and 70s. Hell yeah.
I'll tell you, behind the scenes, they are so nice and really, really sweet. So they are the winemakers as well as the band. And Linda, the wife, is the manager. So we meet with them a lot. We work, and there's a couple more that were a little bit younger than I am, or a little older than I am. But an example of Little Big Town. We do Little Big Towns Club. and if you're country western, but they've crossed the lines as well, and they don't promote their club at all, and it's just I can never tell you how big it was. It's just so disappointing when you know that they've won top country western performers of the year after year after year, and they just don't leverage their club as much as they could and get out of it. So signing bottles would be just a tiny way, and I love it because it kind of makes mead makers, winemakers, and everybody feel a little bit more special, like they are, and really people love that.
Yeah, they do. It's amazing. You don't think people think you got to do big, humongous things to make people happy, to make people want it. When in reality, all you have to do is just nice things that they will like.
Mm-hmm. Or teach me. When I all of a sudden you can say, you don't even have to like it, but all of a sudden you provide one that has what you were talking about, a larger amount of fruit. I can't remember the fruit you were talking about. Let's just say cherries, a larger amount of cherries, peaches, I think you were using, then and a smaller amount of cherries, and you found that it made a difference in the flavor. If you could share that, then that's amazing, because all of a sudden I'm learning something new. And then I'm going to stick with you because you taught me. I've been in wine for over 18 years. I can't tell you how many people have told me what I think of the glass I'm drinking. And they'll come up and they're like, oh, you're tasting this, this, and that. And I'm like, so I just keep my mouth shut. But if you can help me taste it, and I have the experience instead of you telling me what I'm experiencing, then all of a sudden you've got a friend for life sometimes.
Yeah. I hate
definitely
it
at the Mazer Cup.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That is absolutely one of the best experiences that I got at the Mazer Cup last year. My first year attending was the chance to taste all these different things. And, I was in the pouring room, so I didn't really get to see labels. I didn't know what any of the stuff was, but some of it's like you have a sniff, and then when it comes back and you're allowed to have a taste, okay, I know exactly what that has to be, because there's nothing else that can be if it tastes like this. It just some of it's just it's amazing to get a chance to taste some of these things that you like. I'm in Canada. We don't have orange trees, therefore we don't have orange blossom, and I don't know where meadow foam comes from, but we don't have that either.
Oregon and Washington. Yeah, it's a West Coast thing. Oregon and Washington, and not every year.
Yeah, exactly. But and things like, we don't have a whole lot of the varietals that you see up there, like the blueberry blossom and the blackberry blossom. All of those things sound fantastic, and then you get to taste them, and it's just I can't even describe how important that was to my experience as a mead maker, is being able to taste all these things that I never had access to before. And what you were saying earlier about being able to taste multiple pecan pie meads at a time, educate your palate. That is totally how I learn. Like when I was trying to educate my palate myself, what I did was an experiment where I took a base wine and added too much acid to one and too much tannin to another, and some vanilla to another, and some oak to another, so I could taste them all compared to each other and compared to the control, so that I could try to educate my palate a little bit. It turned out not to work because I didn't have very good sanitation, and some of the batches went kind of funky on me. But it's one of those things where, like, getting a chance to taste stuff back to back and compare it from one to the other is an extremely valuable experience for your palate.
I think so too. And the thing with like me, as I'm learning, and I will hopefully always be learning, is I finally talked to somebody who's one of the top winemakers around the world. He's a huge consultant, and he has like the top 3 brands in Safeway, not under his name, of course. And his son is becoming a winemaker as well. And as he came on out, the son hadn't tasted wine for a week, and we were doing a pouring that we tested both the father and son for, because we were picking wines for an alumni program. And the son said, he goes, oh, I haven't tasted wine for a week, my palate's not going to be as sharp. And we looked, because to me, I just thought, oh, these people have this, you guys have this miracle palate that you can taste things I can never taste. And instead of like pear, I was sitting with somebody who said slightly underripened pear. I'm like, are you kidding me? You couldn't just say pear. You couldn't say underripened, but you had to say slightly underripened. Really? So, it
just means that this person has tasted very underripe pear and not so underripe pear and ripe pear.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And he's a master somm.
Pretentiousness
he was a master
is important.
Somm.
Pretentiousness is important too. So.
Yeah, it's a master somm.
You have to get better with slightly underripe Japanese pears that are grown on the west side of the mountain, but only on Hokkaido and on a Thursday and a full moon. That's when you get really into it. Oh my God! I was just checking to see if we had any questions on Facebook, and the first thing up on my feed is Sergio at Melavino, which I'm going to be at on Friday. Woohoo! His new mead is called Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, cool!
And it's a Morello cherry mead on pink and smoked black peppercorns.
Ooh, yum.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, so here's another one that I'd like to try is, have you ever had strawberry jam with black pepper?
Oh, God, yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Oh, my goodness. Those two, that combo, I mean, that would be just phenomenal.
I love black pepper, but I'll have to try it just because you said so.
Well, I put, I do...
I'm told strawberry and basil is fantastic.
Oh, strawberry and basil is amazing. I do living history, so they put, like, spices and flavors together that are totally not what we think of as complementary, And so I've spent over the last 20 years a good chunk of my life living in either the 16th, 17th, or 18th century, and so I've learned to look at flavor profiles differently than what I was raised with my modern sensibilities. And one of the things that they like to do is pepper with sweet things. And you saw it all the time. There's all kinds of things where they combine pepper with a sweet flavor. And so I started doing that.
Cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. And one of my favorite mulled meads is a Henry VIII era recipe that I got out of a book that I got at one of those castles, and they had all the recipes that that came forward from that time when Henry VIII was king, and one of them was a mulled mead that had among the things in it pepper, and it had it was like cinnamon and nutmeg and ginger and pepper on a super sweet red wine base.
Ooh, yum.
Oh, yeah. I'll give you the recipe if you want it. Just ping me and I'll drop it to you because I've got the book. You can tell that's my favorite recipe because there's all these red wine fingerprints on the pages. From all the times I've made it, it's got all these little sticky fingerprints all over it. But yeah, it was, and it actually didn't use pepper. They used gallon-gale because pepper was literally worth its weight in gold in the 1500s. Literally worth its weight. Gold was, you could get gold easier than you could get black pepper because you could only get it from the Far East and the Spice Trail and in the Middle East. So literally you could do like a pound of pepper and a pound of gold. There you go. Pick one. And so they use gallon-gale, which is kind of a ginger pepper flavor. And so I literally keep a jar of gallon-gale because I use it in all kinds of things. I love the flavor, and it combines really well with sweet stuff.
Well, that, and you never know what the difference is going to be between something that's been dried or something that's been grated. Like I don't really like cooking with powdered turmeric, but if I can get my hands on that stuff fresh, boy, I put it in everything. I adore the taste of fresh turmeric, but I can't. It's not my thing dried. It just ugh. So anytime I get my hands on it, I grate the hell out of it and put it in the freezer, and then just break off a lump for whatever I need it for.
I like ginger, and you're right. There's a big difference between. I've never had fresh gallon-gale. All I've ever gotten is dried because that's the way it's usually presented, at least here, or in the sources I've used. But yeah, I mean, it's
same.
There are a lot of different, really interesting combos. If you go back and you look at some of the historically based recipes for food, you'll be stunned at some of the things you go, I never thought of that. I mean, they would serve their meat, and you don't think of this. Their meat had like cloves and nutmeg.
Well, that's pretty common.
Yeah, well, yeah, but not really. No, I mean, most people. I mean, I don't put cloves and nutmeg on my steak. Generally butter.
No,
yes,
but I do put it in. I do put it in my. It belongs in breakfast sausages have clove in them, and like pork goes really well with clove. It's gratin, French Canadian meat spread.
Yeah, well, there
You
you
know,
go. Yeah,
that's got clove in it.
that's a cultural. That's a cultural thing. See, we don't get that down here. Now, you probably also see that maybe down in New Orleans, where they've got a lot of French influence down there. But you don't see that much in North Carolina.
Yeah, probably.
We got a bunch of Scots around here, so you get a lot. It's a whole different. It's a whole different approach. But yeah, it's really interesting. So yeah, Theresa, we're like out in the boonies with our flavor profiles. There is no box. There really isn't. Weird.
Well,
Yeah,
I hate it because now I have a world ahead of me to explore. So
Oh, you'll taste some really
It'll be so
amazing-
much fun.
Yeah, just latch
And see if you can taste some different honeys too.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, hoping that marshmallow one.
Oh, meadow foam is amazing. Yeah, latch on to AJ and I at the conference. We'll drag you off to a few of the afters events, and you get.
I'm going to take you up on that. I'll take you up on
Do
that.
please,
Thank you.
yeah. And you'll see Carolyn there because she's going to be there.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
We don't bite hard
Well, yeah. Unless we're asked really
unless
nice.
you ask
but
really
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, it's dangerous to let us be in the same physical location for too long.
Yeah, AJ and I are trouble on wheels.
We get
yeah.
up to mischief.
Yeah, she needs a shirt that says, "In my defense, I was left unsupervised." Yeah.
Yeah. And I do wear a hat that proclaims bad example.
Yeah, she is. Yeah,
There you go.
That's what I wore at the Mazer Cup last year.
yeah. Which is hilarious because I get in way more trouble than you do at the parties. So.
Yeah, well, you know all these people already. I'm still getting to know them.
Yeah, well,
I'll
that's
be
all
bad
right.
this.
I'll drag you around and introduce you. You know that. I'm not shy.
I'm not shy either. Yeah, that's after
I know,
problem.
right? Just that you can't hear yourself thinking those parts. We have good times. This pretty much 24/7 mead for the entire week. By the end of the week, Theresa, you won't want to touch the stuff for about a month.
I don't know. It sounds like it's going to be really great. So I'm
is,
excited
yeah.
about it.
It is. Yeah, we have. I mean, there's so much going on the whole time. I mean, there's the conference itself and the trade show going Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday, and of course we have our meet and greet on Wednesday night, and then on Friday the Mazer Cup has the home competition judging, and then in the evening they have the mead mixer, which is the largest public mead tasting in the world, literally.
Oh, nice.
By a huge margin. If you haven't got your tickets yet, I highly recommend you get them quick before they're sold out. And that goes for all y'all out there, too. If you haven't got your Mead Mixer tickets yet, you better hurry up and get them. I didn't go fast enough, and I had to buy a regular rather than a VIP ticket, which is what I prefer. But anyway, so it's like there's over 100 meads in there. Meaderies from all over the world, and Carvin Wilson, who is a huge advocate and supporter of the mead industry, and he's just a guy who makes mead. He's not a meadery owner or anything. He's just a guy who loves to make mead and drink mead, and he's actually a business owner in his own right in the IT part of the world. But he is, and he's in Arizona. Yeah, he's in Arizona, and he has hosted a number of tables at the Mead Mixer to bring in little meaderies and meaderies from other parts of the world. So there's a huge representation of foreign meaderies that are going to be there this year, which is great. So it's just really, really neat. So there'll be a lot of really cool meaderies. And then Saturday is the commercial judging, and then in the evening is the awards banquet that the Mazer Cup throws. And after all of these things on every single night, there are parties all over the hotel. I mean, we literally have probably close to half the hotel booked up with mead lovers. So there's
Nice.
there's little private parties, there's big parties, there's there's invited private tastings, there's all kinds of stuff going on. And it's just really, really neat. The opportunity to meet some of the best mead makers in the world and taste some of the best mead in the world.
Sold.
Yeah, I know, right? I always stay till it's really funny because I come in Monday because we've got our annual meeting. The AMMA has their annual meeting on Tuesday, so I got to get there early to sort of prep things. But then I stay till the following Monday because even though all the actual official stuff is over on Saturday night with the end of the Mazer Cup after the awards banquet, we always end up staying up late Saturday night, those of us that are sticking around, because we don't have anything to get up for on Sunday. I had to get up
for the
early.
massage we had last
Except
year.
for our massage, like we had last year,
Oh, that
yeah.
was awesome.
But yeah, we bought a massage package. There's a spa at the hotel, and we don't normally have to get up. I have to get up early to judge on Friday and Saturday, and of course I have to get up early on the conference days because I'm running the conference. But you have to get up early to judge. It's like you do not want to like OD on meat the night before if you're going to be tasting meat all day the next day. It's unfair to the people who enter, to do that. So you want to give them your best palate. But so Sunday is recovery day, and can't like I just sit there and I hang out maybe with Pete Bakulich and we have dinner that night, and then Monday I leave. But Sunday is like just lay around in the hotel room and go, oh my god.
You just kind of ferment. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. I just sort of ferment
Good.
and hang out, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's more like letting the bottles rest.
Pretty much. It's a lot like letting the bottles rest. And it's so funny because people are like, you going to drink mead? And I'm like, no.
I'm done.
I
Thank
don't want
you.
any
No.
mead for at least a couple of weeks because I pretty much OD'd at that point, So
Yeah, my goal for my goal for my first Mazer Cup was no hangover, and I managed, so I was happy. Drink lots and lots of water and take very small samples of anything you want to taste.
pretty much, yeah.
When was your first Mazer?
Last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the first time I had managed to get out of my country at all ever.
I had to, it took some doom to lure her out too. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
she was resisting. I've been going since I helped found the Mazer. I was one of the team that founded the Mazer, and then I was going to the International Mead Festival way back into the beginning of the century. So that sounds so weird. But anyway, I've been going out to Colorado for mead competition / festivals since like 04, 05. So it's
fabulous.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
fabulous.
lot of fun. It really is. I mean, I learned judging literally at the feet of people like Ken Schramm and Kurt Stock and some of the giants that have been around and basically helped shape the industry into what it is today. So it's I was very fortunate to have really great people to learn from.
Why do you think it's finally coming to market now, where more and more people are learning about it, and I'm seeing more and more of it? Why is that?
Well,
Just the slow growth of it?
Well, I mean, it was fairly slow up until 07 or 08, and then it started taking off, and now we're seeing meaderies open on average one every 3 days. So there's just cranking now, and a lot of what's happening is we're seeing a kind of a new generation, a lot of younger people, age-wise, that are starting to really get into it, and mead is one of those, and this is what I tell when I do interviews with the newspapers and the radio stations, everything old is new again. Mead's kind of coming around after going around, and it's been around for 8,000 years, but it dropped kind of off the map when wine became much easier to get, and ale was always popular in the olden days because everybody could make it. So mead kind of fell by the wayside, and then it started getting popular again, at least in the United States. In the after it dropped away, not long after, probably around the early 1800s. It just kind of it was always there, but it was just really like minimal. And then it started picking up speed in the States and started becoming known again back in the 60s when the Renaissance festivals actually got started. And, people were kind of doing that mead history thing. And then it kind of hung out there for a long time. And then all of a sudden it just kind of broke out. And now they're mixing it into cocktails in trendy bars in New York City. And, and there's meaderies just popping up everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, and when I mention it, it's interesting how many, a couple of years ago, people were like, what? What's that? What is that?
What?
Right, exactly. And now more, I mean, I still certainly get that, but on the other side of it, a majority of people that I'm talking to now are very clear on it. And so it is definitely seeing a shift in a very positive way. So I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of breakout. We're at the AMMA is dedicated to helping to sort of market mead to more people, so they become more aware of it, both to buy it and to make it, if they want to be home made blah, 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 meat makers. So, it's something that we're really hoping to see a lot more of, happening. But
well, seriously, if you like anything alcoholic, there's a mead that you're likely to like.
Yeah.
Mead is so versatile. There's so many different ways of making it. It can be sweet, it can be dry. There's just so many different kinds of meads. There's got to be something for everybody who likes anything alcoholic.
Well, and that's what's really cool. We aren't like wine. Unlike wine, we aren't tied to there's a wall around the styles. They have a limited number of styles. There's a little bit more flexibility when you get into country wines, the fruit wines. But, still tends to be fairly limited. Beer is done a lot with weird-a-mells, what we call weird-a-mells, but, weird-a-beers, whatever you want to call them. But things that don't really fit in a style, like peanut butter stouts and stuff like that. And they're having a lot of fun with that, too. But even it seems like they have certain limitations that they can't go. And it just feels like mead really is just kind of a wide-open space.
Blank slate.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the things they're saying about the younger drinkers right now is they're not necessarily staying loyal. They want to try a lot of different things. So that's why I was wondering if that was just kind of a good coincidence, colliding, a good collision.
Yeah, no, it is. And I mean, and I've heard that said a lot of times for people looking to purchase that, I don't want to go buy 12 bottles from Sergio. Well, okay, I do. But, but when I buy, I like to try a lot of different things. I know I like Sergio's stuff, but, and then I can get it. But, there are a lot of meaderies.
You buy 2 bottles of your favorite thing and then one of everything else because you just want to try it all.
Right, yeah. And that's the thing. I had like 2 bottles of the pumpkin mead from Apagard, and then I had a bottle of something else from somebody in California, and a 3rd bottle of something that I forgot to get when I was up at Susan Rude's in North Dakota, and from Prairie Rose. And, there's these meaderies in the heartland that I haven't even been to yet, and this sounds really interesting. So, I'm a surfer when it comes to mead. I want to try a lot of different stuff. I know I can
Pokemon meader, you gotta catch them all.
That's right.
Gotta taste them all.
Well, even more point towards that, the Mead Club with the Southern California type of brand and the different regional brands. I think that'd be fabulous.
Yeah, I think it would be too. If we can come up with a way to sort of let them collaborate, and I don't know how possible something like that is, but I think that would you'd see a serious upswing in in mead sales, because one of the big issues that I've run across is because I'm taste testing. I want to try a whole bunch of different stuff. As I look at it and go, well, and again, caveat that I know you don't control the shipping prices. I understand the shipping companies do that, but it makes it frustrating when I look at it and $200 worth of mead is gonna cost me $175 to have it shipped, and I look at it and go, well, crap, and so I start taking things out of my shopping cart,
Right.
Yeah, because I'm not made of money,
No, we agree with you. That's why it's really going to be interesting to see where Alex takes that club.
Yeah.
And by consolidating that, you get a lot more of your money going back over to the mead instead of going into the shipping to UPS's hands. And it'll be very interesting, and it'll be interesting to see how he's going to market it too, because just so much opportunity.
Oh yeah.
And then to watch to see who's buying it, if it is the younger team. But that was one thing too, is because I was watching. We have a ticker tape of sales come on through, and we watch that every once in a while when you're waiting for a phone call or something. And I saw like a $150 bottle of mead go by, and I just talked to somebody. I said, "Did you see $150? I never thought mead would be $150."
Yeah.
And then he's. Well, that's what the response was. Oh, yeah, you didn't see the $275? And I'm like, I did not. So, and that starts to elevate people's perceptions of mead. It's not strawberry wine necessarily, or rhubarb wine necessarily. So I think there's a lot to be learned as quality as well, which we don't know. You guys know, but I don't know that much about. So I'm just learning it, and I hope other people take the leap and fall in love as well.
Well, there's a lot of premium meads out there. You look at the white the white meads from Superstition that run from $95 to $115 a bottle ish, if I remember correctly.
Utopian from Moonlight.
Yeah, Utopian #9 from Moonlight, which was $3.75 for what was it, $95, I think. I bought 3 bottles of it. And God, it was.
And of course, Heart of Darkness.
And Heart of Darkness, which is $165 a bottle, and that's a so limited run. And there's literally, it's hilarious. Whenever they do Heart of Darkness, people camp out on the sidewalk overnight, like trying to get Rolling Stones tickets.
I don't blame them.
I don't either. I would if I was there. I totally would.
It's equally as good it's equally as good an experience as a concert.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, I hear if I'm there when they have bottles available, I cheerfully pony up. I will buy all the Heart of Darkness I can get at $165 a bottle, and it doesn't. Well, okay, I wince when I hand my credit card over, but it's worth every penny. I just look away and go, just don't tell me, just ring me up. I'll just close my eyes and sign the ticket.
Just get her done.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it comes out once a year. There's an extremely limited run because this is an estate mead. All of the fruit for the mead comes from Ken's fruit raised right on his property.
Yeah, and it's hand-picked, hand-processed.
Yeah, this is like super, 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 it's like babied from step 1 to the bottle.
Like Kobe mead.
Yeah, it's like Kobe mead, exactly. It's the Kobe equivalent of mead, it really is. So it's kind of a I don't know, I guess you'd call it a best of mead. And not everybody prefers it. It's a big fruit, heavy duty, in your face mead, but it's perfectly balanced. The tannins and the fruits are all perfectly balanced, and I mean the thing is just stunning. It's basically the pinnacle of Ken's 30 years of skill in wine and mead making. Yeah.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
It's a beautiful, beautiful fruit bomb.
It really is, yeah. Okay, Alex is texting me going, wait, what's she talking about? That's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be. I'm really interested to see what you bring to the table on the clubs, and hearing more about what Vinoshipper is going to do to make mead more accessible for the masses. That's great. I mean, that's what we all want,
Well, yeah, the more accessible it is, the more people want it. The more people want it, the more they'll buy it, and they'll tell their friends to buy it.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's one of the things that people think that a lot of times, all my customers are local, which I would have said that too. Pardon me, when I was in Livermore, because we couldn't ship. So, that was a big trigger. But all of a sudden you find out somebody moved away, or, somebody came and visited you from Pennsylvania. You want to send them home with a little something on their way, and something that screams your own hometown. And I think that's one of the fun things. Vinoshipper opens up direct-to-consumer sales to over 30 states now. And we do the works. We have the permits. It's over $10,000 a year it would take an individual business to get all the permits and background checks and everything that requires to get those permits. We even pay the merchant processing fee. You get a shopping cart. You get the club solution. So depending upon how deep people have jumped in, whether they've just gotten registered and now can accept the orders that they get in their tasting rooms to say, hey, I'd love a case, but I don't want to carry it on the plane back with me. And you can say, great, I can ship it.
Yeah.
Or if they've gone so far as to put the shopping cart onto their website and expand their reach across the country. You never know where people pop up. One of my favorite phone calls is somebody telling me, hey, I just registered yesterday. We expanded our states, and I already got a sale, and I didn't tell anybody about it. Who'd have thunk I had somebody in Pennsylvania? And I love those pop-up sales. Not everybody's lucky enough to have that.
Yeah.
But, as a meadery, as a startup business, no matter if you're selling shoes, you don't have extra money usually coming out of your ears. You're usually bootstrapping it one way or another and wondering where your next, how you're going to pay your next bill. And so if you could open up the doors to sales by expanding to cover the states, and it doesn't cost you a penny.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's no installation, no monthly recurring fee. It's a pay-as-you-go program, and the doors are open literally to over 30 states. It's really kind of amazing. It's not uncommon to get several calls a week going, I was reading it, but it sounds too good to be true. Is it? And I'm like, indeed it is. So, but it's point being, it's compliant.
Yeah.
And that's the fun
neat
part.
thing is that they don't have to worry about having a lawyer to tell them whether or not they're breaking the rules. And, you know.
We've got 6.
Yeah.
We've got 6.
So you got lawyers for that.
Yeah, we do. And, we get called. We get the nasty grams and the phone calls that come on in saying cease and desist. And we pick up the phone and we let them know, let's use South Dakota, who got a cease and desist. You can't use Amazon. You can't use Vinoshipper. You can't use anybody and their dog. And we called up, now we're BFFs with Jody. And we explained what we do and how we do it. And she's like, well, it's totally legal. I'm like, yes. Could you retract those cease and desist letters? And she did. And we build the bridge. And one of the things you can see is a lot of states you only have to pay quarterly or biannually, or you don't necessarily have to pay the taxes every month. We pay our taxes to every single state every single month. When we get that phone call, which they're usually coming again in, we can say, hang on. We pay our taxes. We're not trying to avoid anything. What is it that you would like? And for instance, Illinois just sent cease and desist to everybody and their dog. And so we're working with the state of Illinois. It got down to they didn't know what they wanted.
Yeah.
They just decided to send out the letters, and everything that we are doing is compliant. And they just kind of sit back and like, well, we'll get back to you. So it's just, but we handle those. The port wineries and cideries, meaderies across the U.S. to get those letters. You don't have to go out and talk to an attorney yet. Send it to us, know what's going on, and if our state will hop on it, because we cover them.
Cool.
So it is kind of nice. Yeah,
That's cool. All right, so Dayton's asking, is there a way to get Vinoshipper to function within or in Canada? Is that something you guys are working on? I mean, is that possible? Or don't you know yet?
I don't know yet. It's not going to happen this year. But, Canada is a huge market and an opportunity, and we'd love to bring in international shipping. But build the compliance engine for Canada, because you guys are really crazy up there, too. No offense.
Yeah.
Both of our countries are crazy. And
it's actually easier for me to take wine I've made to New York than it is to take it to D.C. So yeah, I totally hear you. Every province is different, and it's just stupid.
But
some of them are just
so
stupid.
So are we.
Yeah.
So,
so you just have to
we're
new students.
Yeah, we're just not there yet. I wish we could, because I love lines up there. But, yeah. And figured out and calculated. We still have customers calling in saying, hey, could you ship the cases out to China? And it's always, or Italy, some other country. It's always got to be at least 2 cases, and it's always on a case-by-case, literally, a situation-by-situation basis on exactly what the destination's address is and how we feel that way. But it's just, we're staying focused on the U.S. right now. But stay tuned.
Yeah, cool. So, yeah, Jaden's saying that we're getting some attenuation, so apologies, guys. But, yeah, Jaden, so, keep your eyes open, and, when you start doing it, you'll probably be one of the people they contact to help go through it, since you'll have a meadery by then. Yay! Jane's in the process of starting a meadery, so no, Carolyn, it's not your Wi-Fi. It's not your Wi-Fi. We started to see a little attenuation there. It seems to have egged off, but yeah, thank you, Skype. It'll be awesome for a while, and then not so much. So yeah, and we're running up to time anyway. So this is probably a good point to wind things up and let you go back to your life, Theresa. And
thank you.
Yeah, and we really appreciate you coming on the show. And
well,
Carolyn,
I'm now even that much more excited. I was excited to go to Colorado and meet you guys anyway, but now it's even worse. So I'm really excited to see you. Come and say hi to me. Let me know. And if you have any questions about Vinoshipper, about clubs, I have been deemed the queen of clubs because I am so passionate about it. If you want to talk about it, you can always give me a call as well.
Cool.
So can I give you my number?
Yeah, go ahead and put it out there.
866-678-8466, extension 708. So happy to chat. Thank
Can
you
you repeat
guys
that
so
one again?
much. 866-678-8466, extension 708.
I'll grab it and put it on the feed. You're attenuating just a little bit, Skype being weird. So
Yeah.
I'll put it
Okay.
on. I'll put it on the feed. Hamish says you need to ship to Australia.
Yeah.
I would love it. I would love it.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys, come meet me, and you guys, and thank you so much.
Yeah, looking forward to
Take
seeing
care.
you in a
Thank
couple
you.
of weeks, Carolyn. Thanks. Or I'm sorry, Theresa. Thanks for coming on. Carolyn, unmute. Get my women straight here.
Okay, bye-bye in California.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Theresa. Hey, yeah. I don't think it's your Google phone. I think it's Skype.
Bye.
So yeah, thanks for coming on the show, man. We'll catch you up in a couple of weeks and we'll party, dude. All right, she dropped. Okay. All right.
Dropped.
Yeah, we're just down to us chickens now. Hi, Hamish. He's logged in, but I don't know if he's actually like talking or anything.
He said, "Don't notice me."
Don't notice me. Okay, I didn't say that. Okay. All right. So if you're looking into mead making videos that actually have a clue, you want to look at Danny Aceveto's videos, which are at youtube.com/user/acesspade2000. Okay, and that's ACESPADE 2000. And that's Danny Acevedo. His videos actually tell you how to make decent mead. A lot of YouTube videos don't, so be careful what you use. Okay, so if you're not already, because this is all we've been talking about for the last several weeks, coming to the AMMA Conference, go to mead-makers.org. You can check out all of the information about the conference, like who the speakers are and who's going to be talking when and all that, who's going to be at the trade show. And you can go to amma.brownpapertickets.com to buy your tickets. There are still some tickets left, so get them now. Stop screwing around. Get your tickets. If you're in or around Atlanta on March 31st, they're having a mead there, Super Meter, B Craft, Honest Abe Mead, and Cider, Idaho Meadery, and Cider, Slim Pick, and Cider edition. Yep. We've got one other conference and the Mazer Cup, and that is next week 227. We've got people from the JCP. They're going to come out and talk about the mead certification and some of the stuff they're working with to create definitions and all of that. So this would be a really good opportunity to kind of quiz the BJCP and learn more about what we're doing. And with Haymaker Meadery, who's going to be speaking about oak and using not barrels, but things like staves and spirals and chips and cubes and whatever else, and what the different effects are and different things that you can do with oak. So he'll be talking about that at the conference. So he's going to kind of stuff. So he's got our last show for the conference and the Mazer Cup, and then live broadcast from the Mead Mixer on Friday night at the Mazer Cup. So that'll be really cool. And since me and AJ and Hamish are all going to be there, we're just going to kind of wander around with the computer and like stick microphones in people's faces, and it should be really interesting to see what happens. Hopefully we won't get. Yeah, hopefully we won't get decked. Hey, stop drinking and talk to us. Yeah. So yeah, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. And again, if you haven't got your tickets to the MMA conference and the Mazer Cup mead mixer, get it now. So of course, I've probably said that way too much. That's all I got. What about you guys?
We're getting a lot of dropouts. Even I missed all of that now.
Yeah, I know. We're attenuating. Anyway, we're out of here until next week, guys. Same bat time, same bat channel. So we'll see you next week. Say goodbye, Gracie.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Gracie.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Hamish. Good night, John Boy. All right, kids. We'll see you next week. Take it easy. We're out of here.